Jackrabbit McCabe and the Electric Telegraph by Lucy Margaret Rozier and Leo Espinosa. This here is a story of Jackrabbit McCabe, who was born to run. At birth, his legs were so long that they looped like a pretzel, and his father had to add an extra axle to the baby carriage. When he was 3 years old, his mama dressed him in long pants every morning, but by noon his socks topped shoes, and by 5 o'clock he was wearing shorts. Little Jack chased whatever would run, hogs, dogs, even his own shadow. And as he got older, he raced trains flying past his house in Windy Flats. For years, the engineers cheered him on. And by the time he turned 18, he beat every stagecoach and locomotive in the territory. Perched on the edge of the Great Plains, the town of Windy Flats always counted on Jackrabbit's speed when a message had to get out fast, like to fetch old Doc Dobbins to patch up some ninny from the Double Dahlia Club, or who fell while climbing up St. Bertha's Church steeple. Whenever the sky turned green and twisters bore down, Jackrabbit rounded up every wandering chick and child and plucked them safe back home. On Sunday afternoon, he ran in horse races out at country fairgrounds. Folks who knew Jackrabbit always bet on him to place first. Since he earned a piece of the pot, he made good money. Then one day, something new came to Windy Flats: the Electric Telegraph. Now, these telegraph wires already crisscross the landscape, carrying messages quicker than the mail by using electricity. Each city and town connected by the wires had a telegraph and an operator who sent and received messages in Morse code, an alphabet of dots and dashes. The first week the telegraph company showed up in Windy Flats, there was plenty of talk. "I don't believe any newfangled contraption can carry a message faster than Jackrabbit," said Mayor Babble. "Nor do I," said Judge Festoon. The telegraph man overheard their boasts and said, "How about a race between your fella and this here telegraph? Sandy Bluff's got themselves an operator. That's pert near 25 miles as the crow flies." Now, of course, the mayor had no trouble convincing Jackrabbit to race. "Why, yes, sir," Jackrabbit said. "I can outrun anything." On the day of the big showdown, folks came from miles around. Windy Flats felt as festive as a flag-waving jubilee. A brass band played, and Mayor Babble spoke. Then the mayor carefully wrote down the same message on 2 slips of paper. He handed one to the telegraph man and the other to Jackrabbit. To start the race, Judge Festoon hollered so everyone could hear, "On your marks, get set." A finger hovered just above the telegraph key. Jackrabbit leaned way over with one foot already in the air. "Go!" Down went the telegraph key. Off shot Jackrabbit McCabe. Jackrabbit pumped his legs, kicked up a storm of cloud of dust. On the flat roof of the Mercantile, children whooped and hollered as they watched him roar like a tornado down the road and out of sight. The crowd held its breath. And in a few moments, a reply came clattering back as that telegraph key jumped and smacked all on its own. The telegraph man quickly read the code and shouted, "A message received. Stop. Sandy Bluff's operator." The crowd let its breath go in one great sigh. "Oh, shucks. Where's Jackrabbit McCabe?" they asked each other. Well, sir, Jackrabbit ran in record time 9.5 minutes to Sandy Bluff, but there's no brass band to welcome him, only a telegraph tacked on the door of the depot, and it read, "As the fine statesman and inventor Benjamin Franklin once said, energy and persistence conquers all things. Stop, mere babble of Windy Flats." Jackrabbit pulled the mayor's message out of his pocket and read it with the Sandy Bluff telegraph operator. "Yep, they're the same. I guess I got beat." Jackrabbit felt lower than a snake's navel. He took a slow stagecoach ride home. Meanwhile, Mayor Babel paced and thought. He was barely listening to the telegraph man talk till he heard, "Say, who's gonna be your..." Oh, sorry, it was the telegraph operator. "Say, who's gonna be your telegraph operator?" Suddenly, the mayor perked up. "Why, what about Jackrabbit McCabe?" he said. "His fingers are half as speedy, if his fingers are half as speedy as his long legs, we're in business." And so when Jackrabbit finally arrived back in Windy Flats, Mayor Babel was there to greet him. "Good news, friend. How would you like to become the first telegraph operator of our fair city?" Jackrabbit's shy grin quickly grew into a face-splitting smile. He jumped up with a big wahoo and ran 6 times round town. So Jackrabbit sent away for a Morse code book, and when it came, he practiced every minute. And before long, his fingers flew like a banjo player strumming the telegraph key. Day in and day out, he sent and received messages and, of course, hand-delivered telegraphs in a flash. He even teamed up with a local typesetter who printed the news that came over that wire, linking Windy Flats to the whole entire country. And who do you think delivered the newspaper every morning? That's right, Jackrabbit, who could run through every speck of town as fast as a squirrel hightails it up a tree. And what's more, land a paper at every door. Now I ask you, was there any fellow so all-fired expeditious as Jackrabbit McCabe? The end. Final stop. There's some author's notes, but I don't think I'm going to read them. Morse code keys, if you want that, in this book. Good night. I love you.